As organisms develop, they have a body plan, one that they rarely divulge from. But how do growing organisms know what goes where? How do they not end up in a jumbled mess of limbs and body parts? Homeotic genes are what we have to thank for that. Homeotic genes, also known as selector genes, are essentially genes that have a specific function in the development of organisms and their anatomical structures. They determine the identities of particular segments or structures and select for them in the developing bodies of organisms. This is carried out through the encoding of transcription factor proteins that are then directed to the cells that will form various parts of the body. Homeotic genes are most noticeable when they are mutated. You may have heard of Hox genes and their mutations before. Hox genes are a subset of homeobox genes, or genes that have a DNA sequence called the homeobox that codifies for the homeodomain. Hox genes are also a type of homeotic gene. Since homeotic genes are defined as genes that have a specific function in the development of organisms, some homeotic genes are homeobox genes, and some homeobox genes are homeotic genes, but they are not the same thing. Hox genes are responsible for determining the general body plan of an embryo. They act as master control genes that can toggle large numbers of other genes. When they are overexpressed or underexpressed due to mutations, body segments can change significantly. The first Hox genes to be sequenced belong to the fruit fly. Some flies were seen to have mutations, like extra pairs of wings, or legs in place of antennae. The homeotic gene Antennapedia, for example, turns on the genetic program to make the second pair of legs in other parts of the second segment of a fly's thorax. A mutation can cause the Antennapedia gene to instead be expressed in the fly's head, leading to legs growing rather than antennae. Due to a common ancestor, the genetic sequences and positions of Hox genes are very alike for most animals. Hox genes can be found in both vertebrates and invertebrates. In vertebrates, they can be clustered into 4 groups: Hox A, Hox B, Hox C, and Hox D. They are expressed in certain segments of the body along the head-tail axis at specific stages of development. Thanks to past gene duplication, Hox genes have been able to adopt more specialized roles, leading to the evolution of more complex body types. Hox genes around the end of clusters often influence the development of limbs in vertebrates, such as arms, legs, or wings. Mutations in Hox D13 can result in synpolydactyly in humans. Plants do not have Hox genes, but they do have homeotic genes. Genes in the ABC model control the identities of floral organs along the flower's radial axis and are divided into 3 groups. Unlike those in animals, they are not arranged in gene complexes. Homeotic genes are a vital part of the development of organisms and have helped evolve the complex body patterns we see today. Without them, who knows what life would look like? Probably a whole lot messier.